Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about wrist conditioning for handstands. So we're going to talk about stretching and some exercises to do to strengthen your wrists. It's really important to do this before you start actually learning a handstand because your wrist is made up of 8 tiny little bones that weren't meant to support your entire body weight. So if you don't basically take care of the preparation before going to handstand training, you're probably going to have an injury. Also, if you're currently doing handstand training, doing these stretches and exercises is really going to help improve your overall handstand and your ability to balance. I find for myself when I'm really diligent at doing these, my handstands feel a lot better. So we're going to start with first 4 stretches. So the first one is hands facing backwards, and you're trying to push the bottom of your wrist down into the ground while moving your shoulders backwards. So this is just a light little bouncy stretch. I usually do about 10, and I do these one set of all the wrist stretches for 1 round, just to warm up the wrists before the exercises. Flip it over, same thing, I'm pushing my wrist down into the ground as I'm pulling my shoulders backwards. If you feel pain, ease up on the stretch, don't do so much bouncing. Also, you'll want to keep your arms straight. This is a practice for the handstand position. And from here, fingers facing forwards, hands straight again, or arms straight again. And you'll notice here my shoulders can go fairly far over my wrists. This is good because when you're in a handstand position, let's say you're having trouble getting past just the shoulder over the wrist, it's going to be really hard to control your handstand if you can't have a nice range of mobility in your wrists. So here, and then the last stretch is we're going to spin the arms around and then pump from this position. It's a really awkward position, so I'll show it to you one more time. So if imagine my hands are straight, and again I'm trying to straighten my arms as much as I can. And now to move on to the wrist strengthening portion. The way you're going to do these is if it feels too hard for you to do on the ground, you're going to do it on the wall first and then move to the ground. And then the other way to make it easier or harder is to do one wrist at a time. So I'll show you what I mean. The first exercise is just going up to your first knuckles here. So you're going to have flat palms and press up to your knuckles. Now a lot of people have trouble going 90 degrees on this. That's okay if at the beginning you don't, but you'll build up to it. And the reason this is super important for your handstands is when you begin to fall forwards, you're going to need to be able to push into your fingertips in the front in order to pull you backwards in the handstand. A lot of people have a fear of falling forwards. So if you strengthen this, when you fall forwards, you'll be able to push into your fingers and essentially pull you back so you don't fall forwards. So first one is like this, and you want to keep the shoulder over the wrist the whole time. It'll be easier to do one wrist at a time. So if you're on the wall, that's the easiest version. Doing one wrist at a time on the wall is the easiest version. Then 2 wrists at a time. Then come down to the floor, 1 wrist, 2 wrists at a time. And then the last way to progress it is to move your knees further away. So here it's fairly easy. Here it's more challenging. And then on the feet, that's the hardest one to do. I'll put a clip at the end of me doing all these for you. So that's the first one, is here. Second one, we'll turn our fists over, or we'll make a fist into the ground. And then we'll do back of the wrist down, back of the wrist down. And then same time, try to keep the arms straight. And then when you're making the transition from knees to feet, it's fairly difficult to just go with straight arms. So you can do on all 4 of these exercises a little bit of a push-up. So you go down, So you go down, push up to give you momentum. But you want to work up to very little momentum to be able to make the exercise more effective. Try to keep the reps under 5 on these. You're going for strength, so you don't need too many reps. That being said, when you're starting the easier progressions, more reps is better, but as you get to like a full push-up level, you don't need as many reps. So that was exercise number 2. Now number 3 is off your fists. You're gonna do wrist rocks. So you go forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. Super simple. And again, you can do this 1 at a time or 2 at a time. And the final wrist strengthening exercise is fingertips. So you want to have nice straight fingers and just press up. So by doing all of these stretches and exercises, you'll really help to improve your handstand position and ability to maintain balance. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you later.